All right. So, Elizabeth, I am totally impressed with, I already watched your video to take some notes, and I'm just really impressed with how much progress you've made. And I'm excited to share with you a few things that I think will help progress you even further. So we'll go ahead and watch your video. Okay, so here you'd mentioned that you wanted some help with the porcupine game, that you were feeling like you were having to use a lot of driving game. I think you're talking about when you're moving his front end over. But here it looks really good. The only thing that I would say to you is that you want to think about rewarding quality and rewarding more often. So, you know, when you're first starting, just ask for 1 step or 2 steps. And if he gives you that with quality, leave it alone. Reward him, give him a minute, and then go back and do some more. Okay, so, and then eventually you can build from there. But you want to let him know that he's on the right track. Okay, and here, what you did here, where you have you put your hand up to help him figure out to move his front end over, fabulous. I'm going to pause it here to talk to you a little bit about this. Because when you want to think about the drive line when you're moving the front end over. So if I could draw a line on his body from his withers to the tip of his shoulder, that's where his drive line would be, or where if you were to hang a savvy string, you probably might know this already, but in case you don't, where if you were to hang a savvy string around his neck, that's where the drive line is. When you're asking for his front end to move over, we use our hand at the cinch line and use our porcupine game there to simulate where our leg would be when we're riding. But really, if you think about it, it's behind the drive line. So it's really difficult for horses to understand what we're asking. They think, you must be asking me to go forward because we're putting pressure behind that drive line, which usually means forward. So putting your hand up there to help him understand that you're actually asking his front legs to move over is great. So don't think that that's a bad thing if you're needing to go there. You're just helping him figure out what that pressure on his girth or his cinch line means. So feel free to use that and then refine it as you move on. You know, start challenging him to understand that if you just use your hand on the cinch line, then he should move over. Okay? So we'll keep it going here. Like that looked really great. Really good. And again, like I mentioned in the last video, you do such a great job of pausing in between. You have no idea how many times I say that to people. You need to pause, and you're doing a great job of that. And checking in with him and rubbing on him, that's really, really good. And he's processing a lot. I don't know if something had happened before your session together, but he's definitely releasing quite a bit of tension in a good way. So here, that driving with your hand, again, and helping him don't go forward with the rope is great. You're just helping him get the idea. And just for your knowledge, just know that, like, if you even look at where your hand is, for him, if that's all the pressure you're putting on, it can be confusing. So one thing that you can do, I'll pause this here, and you're actually doing it, but you could do it even a little bit more, is you can think about that where your left hand is on his cinch line is behind the drive line. So you want to make sure that most of your body, like the rest of your body, is in front of the drive line. So that hand can be, or that arm can kind of be stretched. So you've got the pressure from your hand on the cinch line, your arm's stretched out, and then the rest of your body's in front of the drive line to help encourage him not to go forward. And if you need to use your line to help him or your hand, do that. And then when you get 1 step of quality where he's actually moving his front end over, stop and reward him. Because right now it's a little bit challenging for him to understand, and I want you to know that that's a really challenging maneuver, especially for more dominant left brain horses. They don't want to give up their front end because that's their dominant side. So sometimes you have to be a little bit more persistent to help them get the right answer. Great. Really good. So I don't see anything wrong with what you were doing there. I think that you're on the right track for sure. Good. And again, so I would have, maybe rewarded a couple of steps before then. And then just build toward it. So if you get a good step, reward that. So you're telling him that, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Instead of getting, a good step and then 3 mediocre steps. And he's really tuned into you. He's really like, what are you wanting me to do? He's really looking at you quite a bit, which is great. You're on the right track with what you're doing. And I'm going to talk to you about draw in a little bit. That looks really good. Good, so it's a little harder for him moving his front end over, going to the left when you're in his right eye, which is typical also. So you might just be a little bit more ready to support him on his right side, that he's going to be thinking forward more. And one thing that you can do, because for that front end yield there, he was really kind of leaking forward. I'm sure you could feel that. One thing that you could do is just break it down a little bit and do one step where you're asking him over. Excuse me, wait, erase that. One step where you're asking him back. So actually ask him to go backwards and then ask him over, and then ask him backwards and then ask him over. And pretty soon he won't be thinking forward anymore. He'll be thinking backwards, and you're going to get that front end yield. Okay, so just use your yo-yo game while you're standing. Stand in the same position as you would if you were just going to be driving him, using the driving game to move his front end over like you were. But just use the yo-yo game to wiggle the rope to ask him to take a step back, then ask him over, take a step back and over. That'll help a lot. And that was so cool. And I love how he's playing with the cone. Like, you've got components in here that are level 3, even 4. Like, if you re-watch this and watch how you're moving and he's responding sideways, it looks really good. Like, that's a level 3 quality there. And a level 4 quality would be that he's going the exact speed that you're going. Like this, that's so good. Really, really good. Responsiveness is when horses are matching our energy. Sometimes people think about responsiveness as being super snappy and fast. Responsiveness is if we're asking slow, they go slow. If we're asking fast, they go fast. So they're matching our energy. And this is great. You stay persistent here to help him with the backing up. Looks really good. And you've definitely improved. Like, I remember when I first looked at the video of your first session, it took him a little while to back up. Like, he was not backing up when he was close to you. Here he was backing up when he was close to you. It was just a little bit further out that he got stuck. And here, just one little thing. The video is going faster than I can talk. One little thing here is when he got stuck there at a distance, backing up, you want to think about what tool is the most effective. And your stick is going to be most effective when he is within probably 5 feet of you, where if you were to flick it, it would touch him. When he's way out there, it's really not going to be the most effective tool. It'll be the motion of it you could definitely use that as more of a phase 2. But if you're really trying to get his attention,